Trade deadline day started with the Anaheim Ducks and the Boston Bruins making a deal. So the Bruins get rid of David Backes' contract, which was big for them. Sent a prospect in Axel Anderson and a first-round pick to the Anaheim Ducks for Andre Kassi. Now, I thought this was a good move. Obviously, it's a good move for Boston as they are in win now mode, and basically replacing Kassi with Backes is quite the upgrade. Kassi's very young, very very talented. He could thrive in Boston, especially. I think a change of scenery is really gonna make him blossom. As for the Ducks, I mean, he's not a guy I was really expecting them to trade, so I found this a little bit surprising. But to get a first-round pick for him is obviously awesome for them, so really good move there. The Jets received Cody Eakin from the Vegas Golden Knights for a fourth-round pick. Just a depth move here. Cody Eakin was a very productive player in Vegas' first season, but so was the whole team. And he's come back down to earth now those last couple of years. So they move him. Jets pick up some depth. Next, the Maple Leafs and Predators pulled off a very minor swap. Predators got another defenseman in Ben Harper, whereas the Maple Leafs add a forward, Mika Salamaki. Just a depth move for both teams there. Big one coming between the Canadiens and the Capitals, which broke my heart, I won't lie, as a big Ilya Kovalchuk fan. And as someone who doesn't necessarily like the Capitals all that much, this one hurt a little bit, but Ilya Kovalchuk to the Caps for a third-round pick. This is one of those things where the Canadiens essentially got Kovalchuk for nothing. The Kings bought him out, he was a free agent, and they signed him to like a vet minimum deal. So to get a third-round pick out of a guy that you got for free, I mean, good on them. And as for the Capitals, obviously they're in win-now mode as well, and Ilya Kovalchuk, certainly wherever they put him in the lineup, which rumors are saying it'll be an all-Russian line with Ovechkin, Kuznetsov, Kovalchuk, which I would love to see, but regardless where he's in their lineup, I mean, he's going to add very much a scoring touch to that team. So I think that's a win-win. Should be noted the Canadiens are already planning to offer Kovalchuk a deal this offseason again, because they really did like what he brought. The Edmonton Oilers made a few moves. The first one they got Mike Green from Detroit for Kyle Brodziak and a conditional pick, which would be either a sixth or a seventh, kind of depending on things. I believe that's if the Oilers make the playoffs, it is a sixth. If they do not, it's a seventh. This is just, Mike Green kind of fits the Oilers' style of play really well. At least a few years ago, Mike Green. But, I mean, he still is a good puck-moving defenseman on a team that likes to play fast and attacking. So I think that's a good fit there. Detroit, I don't really know why they wanted Brodziak, but maybe they like what they see there. Who knows? Now, a surprising one for me is the Colorado Avalanche get Vladislav Namestnikov from the Senators for just a fourth-round pick. This I found surprising for a couple of reasons. One, I wasn't expecting the Senators to trade him. I also weren't expecting them to trade someone else that I'll get to. As he's a good young player. He's had his ups and downs. He struggles with consistency, but I think Namestnikov certainly has a pretty high ceiling. And so to move on from him for a team that's rebuilding, especially given just his age and everything, I was a little surprised. And only get a fourth-round pick from them. Good on the Avs. But I don't know. I'm kind of disappointed in the Senators with that one. I feel like they could have done more there. Speaking of disappointed with the Senators, they trade J.G. Pageau to the New York Islanders for a first-round pick, a second-round pick, and a third-round pick. Now, I can't knock them on their return here. I think that's a pretty good return for Pageau, but J.G. Pageau is just 23 years old. He's kind of having a breakout year this year. He's been good since he's been in the league. He struggled with some injuries, but again, for a team in a rebuild right now, to be trading away these young guys, I'm not entirely sure what the Senators are doing right now. Because if they're not really happy with the young guys they currently have, and they want to keep piling draft picks in. Like, why'd you give Shabbat that long extension? And like, I don't know. I'm not really sure what the Senators are doing right now, but I think this is a win-win trade. With that said, I mean, like I said, it is a good haul for Pageau. I was just really surprised that they moved on from him. Carolina Hurricanes and Florida Panthers made a deal that has had a lot of mixed reviews from people. Vincent Trocheck goes to the Hurricanes. Eric Halla, Lucas Wallmark, 2 prospects go to the Panthers. I've heard a lot of people saying that they don't like this for the Panthers. I've heard some people saying that they do. I'm in the boat where I see this as a win-win for both teams. Trocheck hasn't been amazing this year for the Panthers, and he certainly has been expendable when you look at what they have down the middle there. And I feel like the Panthers have kind of lacked a grindy two-way forward to really round out their bottom 6. And I think that's exactly what they get with both Wallmark and Halla. So I like the trade for both teams. I think they both got what they needed, kind of. But I get what people are saying. The Panthers certainly could have gotten more for Trocheck, and if you are looking to move him, considering he's on such a team-friendly contract, definitely could have gotten more. Definitely probably should have waited or could have waited for the offseason, because that's the other thing. Halla is a free agent at the end of the year. I imagine they'll re-sign him. But for a team that's not even a lock to make the playoffs, they keep Mike Hoffman, which tells me they're going for it. Now you have Hoffman and Halla both looming free agency, so they better hope that they do make a run now with this team, because otherwise, what are you doing here? But I do like that for both teams. Eric Halla, I think, is a very underrated player. Very interesting one. The Pittsburgh Penguins got Patrick Marleau for a 3rd. Again, good on the Sharks. This is very, almost identical to the Kovalchuk trade for me. They got Marleau for literally a vet minimum contract. He was just a free agent. Get a 3rd-round pick for him, so good on the Sharks. I think it's interesting from the Pens' perspective. They certainly have the cap room for him. He's on a vet min contract, but Flyers didn't really do anything big. I don't think they had to. I like what they did. They added some depth forwards, which is exactly what they needed, I think. A weird one between the Sabres and the Devils. Wayne Simmons goes to Buffalo for a 5th-round pick. To me, this is the Devils just wanting to get Simmons' contract off their books, getting a pick in return. The Sabres, I'm not really sure why they made this move. Simmons, I'm pretty sure is an unrestricted free agent. I mean, fact check me on that, but I'm like 90% sure he's a UFA at the end of the year. Sabres obviously not going to make the playoffs, so I really am confused as to what that was all about. But anyways, Ducks got Heinen from the Bruins for Nick Ritchie. Love this for the Bruins. I've always been big on Nick Ritchie. I think he's got a great shot. I am still waiting for him to just break out and have like a 30-goal season. Change the scenery, I think will do him well. And watch out for that. Another move the Oilers made, they get Andreas Athanasiou, one of my favorite players in the league, for Sam Gagner and 2 seconds. This is a good ad. He is one of the fastest skaters in the league, and how I mentioned before, the Oilers like to play a fast attacking game. He fits right in there. I would imagine he'll be in a top 6 role for them, and I think that's a very good move. Gagner getting older, getting, not good anymore, to put it bluntly. And 2 seconds back to the Red Wings. Similar kind of to what the Senators were doing. Athanasiou's a young player. I thought, even though they're rebuilding, they might keep around. So I was a little surprised to see they moved him, but to get 2 seconds for a player like that, I think this will turn out to be a win-win trade as well. Oilers also pick up Tyler Ennis from the Sens for a 5th. Just a depth piece there. I don't really think Tyler Ennis will do much in Edmonton, but they also didn't give up much, so that's that. The Calgary Flames added 2 defensemen, which isn't surprising. We all knew they were searching for defense. They get Derek Forbort for a 4th from the Kings, and then Eric Gustafsson for a 3rd-round pick from the Blackhawks. Absolutely love the Gustafsson trade for the Flames. This is a guy that had 60 points as a defenseman just last year. Very good offensive upside, plays a good two-way game as well. They certainly needed kind of a good offensive defenseman to replace Mark Giordano, as they've missed him terribly, and he's going to be out for a little while longer still. They're also missing Hamonic, obviously, so they needed to add defenseman. And to only give up a third for him, I was really surprised. He is an unrestricted free agent at the end of the year, but I'm still really surprised it only cost a third. So I love that for Calgary. Mentioned the Penguins added a couple other forwards. They get Evan Rodriguez and Connor Sherry back from the Sabres for Dominic Cahoon. I knew the Penguins were pretty high on Cahoon, so I was a little surprised to see him moved. But I also know the Penguins always loved Connor Sherry, especially Mike Sullivan, and they really didn't want to trade him in the first place. It was purely a money move. Now they get him back, now that they have the money to get him back. So I think that's a good move for both teams. Carolina Hurricanes did a lot, and we already talked about Trocheck. They also added Sammy Vatanen for a fourth and two prospects from the New Jersey Devils. Vatanen, veteran defenseman, he'll add a good presence to that Carolina Hurricanes blue line that has been hurting greatly. The other move that they made, which I was shocked by, is they get Brady Shea from the Rangers for a first-round pick. A lot to digest with this one. The first-round pick is a good return for the Rangers, but Brady Shea is one of the better young defensemen in the league right now, and the Rangers are on fire also. I was really, really surprised that this happened. I really was. I was surprised, one, that the Hurricanes added two defensemen. Shea's under contract. He's got control as well. So I was really surprised the Rangers moved on from him, and I don't like that for them at all. Vegas bolstered their goaltending in a 3-team trade. The Maple Leafs got a 5th-round pick in this deal. The Blackhawks got Malcolm Subban, a second and a prospect, and the Golden Knights received a prospect and Robin Lehner. Leafs just give up a prospect for a 5th. That's pretty irrelevant. The main pieces here, the 2nd-round pick and Subban to the Blackhawks, and Robin Lehner to the Knights. Fleury's been cold lately. There's no secret there. So you add Robin Lehner, who should have won the Vezina last year and playing just as well this year. Really like that for the Knights. They just add some insurance for their playoff run. Whereas the Blackhawks get Malcolm Subban, so, a backup to Corey Crawford, capable backup, and a 2nd-round pick is a really nice haul for them from Robin Lehner, who is an unrestricted free agent at the end of the year. So win-win there. Tampa Bay adds Barclay Goodrow and a 3rd-round pick for a 1st-round pick and a prospect. I thought this was very strange. The Lightning, having already added Blake Coleman, really didn't see them adding another forward. I really didn't see them doing anything else, period. But to give up a 1st-round pick for Barclay Goodrow, I applaud the Sharks for that. Really good haul for him. Goodrow's I'm not saying he's bad, but a 1st-round pick? I would have thought we would be more in the 3rd or 4th-round pick territory, so I was very surprised with that. But, good move there. The Devils sent Louis Domingue to the Canucks. He'll now be the backup to Demko as Markstrom is out about 4 weeks. Devin Shore goes to the Blue Jackets. Sonny Milano to the Ducks. I really like Sonny Milano as a player, so I like that for the Ducks. I also like Devin Shore's fit in Columbus better. They play more of that grindy style rather than kind of like a finesse style, which Sonny Milano is all about. So I think that's a win-win there. I think they each fit kind of how they got. Canadians picked up a 4th-round pick for Nick Cousins to the Golden Knights. Knights add a depth forward. The Canadians, meanwhile, have traded away literally all their depth forwards and gotten picks for them, so I like that for them. Let me know what you think about all these deals. What was the most surprising deal to you? Because there were a lot of ones to me. I would say the Pajot or the Brady Shea deal was the most surprising to me. Let me know who your winners and losers are, and keep it right here come Friday for your weekly recap.